who's having a feedback problem on his microphone, and Rob Sperry. So it is a great show because it might, for a few minutes, just be Dr. Sperry and myself, which will be absolutely fantastically fun. Are you speaking at Ted Knighton's deal this weekend?
I'm not. I told Ted's a good friend. He's awesome, but we got to go to a green room. I'm like, right now I don't have time to go schedule and go do it. I'm like, but I'll do it next time, man. He's like, all right. So
did he invite you?
Yes, he invited me. Very nice. Very kind of him.
He didn't invite me.
Well,
I know it. And that's where
we got to talk to him, man.
I've spoken there twice.
You travel all the way to Europe.
I know it. I am like chopped liver, and I did everything I could. And who's his MC?
I think he's having Stefania and Danian.
Oh, they're good.
Maybe one other.
They've got a great international presence. Well, Anyway, I'm very irritated at him for not letting me speak there, but I am also endorsing everyone go because the lineup there is unbelievable. So everybody make sure that you send Ted Knighton a note and his beautiful wife, whatever her name is, and I don't have my contact mapping up, Danny, something like that, Deanie, and it's also their son's birthday today. Their 28-year-old son's birthday today. So that's very exciting. And so all of you need to register for that event, business for home, business at home, whatever it's called, because I'm telling you what, it will be epic. And it's no money. I think the tickets are like $35, aren't they, Rob?
Yeah. I mean, it's just enough so you got skin in the game, but not very much at all. Totally worth it. Can
I borrow $34?
Stop drinking 10 coffees a day and you're good.
So let's see if we got Adrian. Let's talk to see. He sure looks nice. Let's see if we can hear him. Hi, Adrian.
How's my audio? Is it okay?
Oh, it's 100% better, man. You were trouble for a few minutes there.
It was sketchy.
But Rob and I were here at 2:50 and we did a sound check. So I feel very good about that. Thank you very much. So we are all set and ready to go. And Adrian Chenault is with us from San Antonio, Texas, at the home of John and Darcy Collins, which is the most unbelievable compound you've ever seen down there. Swimming pool, all kinds of games. So Adrian and his 3 kids are just living in the pool, having a blast. Rob Sperry's over in Salt Lake City, Utah. And what a life he's got. Here's what I love about Rob. He's been at the top of the profession on several occasions, and all of a sudden made a pivot a few years ago and decided I don't even know where it was, but Luis Ariaza and he were in a huge contest at Business for Home as to who was the best trainer in network marketing, and it was nose and nose. And all of a sudden, with about 24 hours to go, Rob just got out of bed and said, all right, this thing's over. And I just watched those views and those votes just go through the roof to the point of thousands. I mean, he lapped everybody about 10 times because that's the trainer that he is. But when he made that pivot, he made that pivot. He wasn't doing things under the table. He wasn't doing anything in his dog's name or his wife's name. I did a show with him a year ago, and I said, you state to me right now on this show that you are only doing generic training and nothing else. And he said it, and he said, I stand behind it. And if I ever change my mind, which I won't, I will call you, Tom. And the guy has lived to his word. Now, this year, he decided to be the coach of the tennis team that his children are on. And this Rob Sperry was an unbelievable tennis player. I'm saying was because I don't know that he's still playing, but I'm telling you, he was good. And the reason I know that is because of Bev Larson, the former wife of Dallin Larson, who was the owner of Monavie and all kinds of jazz and now Paseo. She was telling me what a great man Rob is, what a great family Rob came from, and what a great family man Rob is. And I fell more in love with him that day than I was already in love with him, and I was already plenty in love with him. So good to have you aboard, Rob. What's going on?
Well, thanks for having me. And like I always say, I mean, one of the things when I first came into this profession, as far as from a coaching standpoint, you were awesome. You called me out and you're just like, look, I don't care whatever you're doing. I don't care if you're building and coaching or just coaching, just be straight up, whatever you're doing and commit to it. And I did. And I still get, they're a little bit less now because people know, but I probably still get 3 to 4 different secret offers, which are very flattering. I'm like, look, how I look at it in network marketing, if somebody asks me point blank, like I just assume everybody knows everything. And so I can't do any like secret code. I gotta be straight up with everybody. And that's why I'm able to build that trust as we go. And then as a coach in network marketing, yes, this year I'm coaching both my daughter and son's tennis teams. So combined, that's 6 months out of the year. And my son's tennis team practice started at 1 p.m. So for the last 3 months, until about a week and a half ago when it finished, I was done working at 1 o'clock. So I had to get a lot done quickly because, you know, that's why we do what we do. You got to figure out your why, your purpose, what you do, and make it happen. So my goal this year is to double my income and work 25 hours a week. I'm on pace for it right now, which just means you got to impact, influence. You got to think differently. You got to think bigger, right? You got to, as Eric Worre always says, stop playing so small. You got to think in leverage and all the good stuff. So it's been a ton of fun, and just want to thank you, Tom, for always kicking me in the butt and being straight up, your mentorship. And it's been fun. Adrian and I just chatted on the phone again, probably a couple weeks ago, and we're always going over different strategies and ideas and all the good stuff.
Well, you are an early adopter, and what I've watched with you is nothing short of unbelievable, because what he's been able to do is create all these things online without losing his network marketing vision for the world. And when no one else was doing masterminds in homes, Rob Sperry figured out a way to do it COVID smart and COVID safe, yet still have people face to face when nobody else was doing it, because the man is 100% first and foremost a network marketer. And I love that about him. Adrian, normally Adrian's sticking me with a fork right now because I'm talking too much. So we don't have the fork. What do you think, Adrian?
Trying to get a word in edgewise. I got my digital fork over here.
All right,
I love Rob. And Rob is one of the people who when I was first getting plugged into network marketing over in Amsterdam, Ted Knighton's conference in 2016, is that right? 2017? 2017.
I mean,
yeah, I heard you speak before, when contact mapping was still kind of a twinkle in our eye. And I just remember thinking to myself, wow, this guy has, incredible charisma, incredible, practical training. And then that was the conference when you guys did the famous kind of walk around video talking about his morning routine. That is still one of my favorite. I just love that video. There's something about it that was just fun. And I think that was really one of the first times that you really unpacked your whole morning routine, Dad. And it was cool the way the whole thing went down. And so I have been Rob Sperry's #1 fan ever since.
So Rob, what's the future? What's it look like? we're going to get in. We got all kinds of stuff we're going to talk about, but what do you think? I mean, right now we're coming out of COVID. People are getting back face to face. They really learn Zoom. They really learn online network marketing, but we can't lose sight of the fact that we're human beings that need to be around human beings. What are you seeing as the future? We've got about 4 minutes. Just talk.
Yeah. So I've been able to, like you said, have masterminds and I think I've done 6 masterminds in the last year, different variations. The last one just had 40 different 6- and 7-figure earners at that mastermind, which was phenomenal. And the one thing I learned just picking, the brains of all these leaders and talking with you guys and just having a pulse on the industry is, everything's changed in a sense that I think network marketing companies have started to learn that there's certain things that they can do online. They can do more online. They've learned how to do online type events and conventions that they couldn't do before. And so I think you're going to see more of those every single year. Each company is going to be different, but just give an example. I know one particular company is going to have 2 of those a year. Now, that doesn't replace doing the in-person events. This is something that's going to be in between to keep that energy going. And so it's that cost efficient, still high energy, but there's no replacement for being in person. And when I was just there doing this event in-person mastermind, it's like, people were, oh my goodness, I miss this so much. It was just such a big deal. And it's one of those things you just can't describe. It's like, I just got back from Maui. I love Maui. It's, 5th time there. And as in Maui, someone asked you, how was Maui? What are you supposed to say? Oh, it was amazing. Well, tell me about it. Oh, the sand is amazing. It's soft, great sunsets. You can't do it justice. It's just like an event. You try to explain it and you try to tell people how amazing it is. I don't care how good of a storyteller you are. I don't care how descriptive you are. It's a feeling. And it's the exact same thing at events. So when you hear the cliche, leaders are born at events, well, cliches are cliches for a reason because they're timeless principles. The principles are exactly the same. I just feel like right now with the future, the techniques have started to adapt a little quicker, right? Where we can do things online. And I've seen the companies, network marketing companies that had social media strategies, they just went like this through the roof. And the companies that had no social media strategies, it was kind of like, they kept asking me, are other companies really crushing it? They were shocked. I'm like, no, they're absolutely smashing it right now. So that, I don't know how much time we have left on that. You said 4 minutes. So
Keep talking. No, you only talked for about a minute and a half, but it's so important. And you got a couple of minutes after I tee you up one more time. The leaders that go to these events from other companies, it's astounding to me. When I looked at the picture, Dana McGrady, Holden Court, Rachel Jackson with now the 40-mile name that I can't pronounce and I always mess it up. Yeah, it always sounds a little bit profane, so I'm not going to do it. Yes, whatever her name is now, great woman, but they all come down there and support your event. Christina McCauley's been to every one of them. I am telling you, it is astounding to me that you're able to get those people to all get together in the same room, build together, leave together, support together, grow together to the next event. And that's what you've done. And companies can't do that. It's unbelievable, Rob. And when's your next one?
Yeah, so the next one is going to be a little bit unique. We have one that's typically just for 6 and 7 figure earners. We're still going to have that one September 7th, the evening of September 7th, 8th in Marco Island, Florida. First time going there. I know Tony Robbins does a lot of big events there. A lot of companies do events there. Amazing. So that'll be in September. Well, right when that's done, it ends early afternoon. We're actually going to have the next one. The next one is the mindset breakthrough. That one will have half leaders and half of those that I'll call them emerging leaders that haven't. Some are making $500 a month and some are making $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000. Anyone who wants to come can come to that one. And so normally I do that one in Sundance, Utah, but I figure, you know what, let's switch the location this time. So this will be the first time ever we do a breakthrough mastermind. And some of the leaders are mixed. Some like the Leader of Leaders mastermind better, and half actually like the breakthrough because like I really want to focus on the mindset and also some of the basics to help my team emerge and what do I need to help them with. And so we're going to be doing back-to-back masterminds in Marco Island, Florida. I'm going to be in Florida for a good 8 days. It's going to be a ton of fun.
And he works his fingers to the bone. So don't think he's going to be having fun. He loves it because that's what he does. Yesterday I posted, here's how you know if you're a network marketer. And then I said, you want to work on Memorial Day. That's because you want to do it. I mean, I might not have worked, but I wanted to. And Marianne Niehaus, who's on here right now, she's on a vacation day. She's out at the sand dunes. What's she doing? Her husband thinks, he wants to think romance. She's thinking a Rob Sperry Zoom. Why? Because she is a network marketer. We're on the Genesis Communication Network. Ted Anderson's had us on for 12 years. I love the guy. And maybe another 12 years would be really nice. We'll be back right after this Network Marketing Leadership Show. We are at the break, boys. How exciting, Adrian. It's all you and Mr. Sperry.
You stuck the landing without me sticking you with a fork, Dad. I'm proud of you.
You can't believe it. They brought me 2 clocks, all kind. I mean, they think this is my first rodeo. Jason brought me more notes, and I goofed this up so much that you're going to find out in about 5 minutes exactly how much I goofed it up.
Hey, Marianne was worried about you.
She's on the road. Everybody thinks, tell me right now how nice I look.
First off, you're looking fit. Like, what's the deal? Your face is all skinny right now. What's going on?
I look like a Solaflex model. My colors are perfect. It's frightening. This is the face and body of a professional contact mapper.
Did you start the Think and Grow Ripped program? Like, what's going on, man? Like,
I have no idea.
You're crushing it.
It's trick photography. Take it away, Adrian.
I just want to point out that the jig is up. We have all realized it's a learned helplessness, Dad, and you will be taking much more responsibility for yourself in the future.
Oh, that's the truth. Yeah, even to the point Rob Sperry said, be here at 50. So 50 I was. You guys tell me, I usually get here at 4 after. Actually, it might have been 54. I saw Sperry Tom, tall tale, almost 50. All right. So what else is going on contact mapping wise, Adrian?
Well, I want to talk. So, Rob, talk about your relationship with my dad. Because I think what you guys have going on is a pretty cool example of the power of collaboration, of staying in touch. Talk about that from your perspective. Because from my outside view, you guys have something pretty special.
Yeah, for me, most people don't know this, but I grew up the little guy. When I say I grew up the little guy, I grew up the underdog. I was the most timid human being alive. I still had crazy ambitions, had, crazy goals. I was like the ambitious introvert. I was the kid that the way I won in 5th grade, I was voted most friendly. And it was like trying to be like nice and friends, but I was like so quiet and so timid that I was the people pleaser, just trying to people please, people please, people please. When I was 14 years old, my brother was 12 years old. He was taller than me. My sister was 10 years old. She was taller than me. So when I say like underdog, I mean legit underdog. And that was the way that I won, was by collaboration, by making friends with people. Everything I did, it was like, I'm going to surround myself with people that are smarter than me, people that are more successful with me, and I'm just going to make friends with them. And so I became really good at making friends with people. Well, I continued that on. I mean, that was we all have our huge weaknesses and we all have our huge strengths, right? That was my strength. That was my super talent. And so that's what I did. And eventually, I saw Tom, and he's always making these posts, and him and I didn't know each other. And then we got on a phone call, and he was just straight up and just always just, hey, how can I help you? How can I help you? How can I help you? And then we started hanging out at different events, whether it was in Europe. And then after that, of course, like eventually prior to contact mapping, he's setting in his phone to reach out to me, which, I do the same thing, reaching out to people. So I feel like it's like this contest of who can reach out first. And then, of course, once he had contact mapping, then he just had this automatic, when to reach out, all these different things to go through. But it was great because I felt like it was somebody that I could just have a conversation with. I didn't feel like there's always this hidden agenda. It was somebody I could network with. It was someone I could mastermind with. It was somebody I could collaborate with, somebody who's got, more experience than my age, which is pretty cool. So I felt like I could just pick his brain, and he never treated me like, oh, here's this young kid who doesn't know anything. He always treated me for what I could be, not necessarily what I was, which was pretty empowering. Because when you talk to, multi-million-dollar legend and you're up and coming, it can be intimidating. And he just always treated me like I was the best. And because of that, I just had this huge respect and felt like this huge debt of anything he wants, I'm going to do. I'm going to help him. 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 And so it's been fun. I mean, now we've spoken all over, very kind just to come out to Australia and, hang out there and speak there, which is great. And obviously hung out in Europe. We've hung out in Vegas and down in Texas at events, and who knows where else, all over the world. So that's the short abbreviated version.
That is unbelievable. Let's just keep rolling on this, Adrian, and talk about that, because all of what you want to do is stop following up and start remembering people. Remember Rob Sperry's kids. Rob's coming to Longmont. He's got a big tent. When is that? Did you already come?
No, I didn't come. I am coming. I'll look at this right now. I think I get there the night of the 12th, June 12th.
June 12th. So here's the deal. I said, come down and spend the night at my house. Bring your daughter. We got plenty of room. And what I'm trying to tell all of you is you want to have relationships like this. Online is great, but it's so much more important to, like he said, that's what, and he was talking about how close we've become. That's because the student became the teacher. Now I call Sperry. He used to call me to pick my brain. Now I call him to pick his, because he's passed me in income. He's passed me in everything at a level you would not believe, but they still have mutual respect. And now he and Fraser Brooks changing the world. And that's what you want to be, is a world changer, right, Adrian?
That's exactly right. And what I love, and I didn't know I didn't know some of that background story, because you're like 6'3" or something now, aren't you, Rob?
I'd like to say 6'3". I mean, I'm more like 6'1", but if we
everybody looks
like guy heights, like
you
guy
are not
heights,
6'1". The first time I ever saw you in person, I thought you were an ex-jockey. You're about 5'5".
Oh, give me a break. All right. So anyways, I'm the shortest dude in almost every room, including this one. And so anyways, I never knew that story about you kind of growing up the small guy, the underdog. But that's so true that there's something that I think is absolutely Rob Sperry's secret to success, but I think it's true for all of us, which is just that the whole concept that there needs to be these internal divisions or competitions within your company, between companies, all this stuff, that's totally like, it's not even the way the world works anymore, and it never really was. But everybody has really woken up to the fact that, there's people out there who are killing it, who are in a different company, who are in your company or whatever. And if you can get your mindset out of your way, or your ego out of your way, or whatever is stopping you, and just ask somebody, say, hey, you do this better than I do, or I want to learn how you do this, even if they're in another company or whatever, they'd love to tell you about it. And I think Rob creates that in these masterminds, but I think you also, with Fraser, with Brian Fryer, with, some of these people that you keep as your company, you really have done that in your own business as well, haven't you, Rob?
Well, I've got texts already today, every single day, with Fraser and Brian. Those are the two in the coaching world that I talk to literally every single day. It's weird when we go a day or two without talking. And one thing I want to point out with that is the ability to learn how to learn is the greatest ability one can have. Think about that. Wow. The ability to learn how to learn is the greatest ability one can have. Leonardo da Vinci is the most talented man to walk this earth based off of accomplishments. Go look him up. Go look up. I mean, you think you know him, but go look up his accomplishments and you'll see sculptor, yes. You'll see painter, yes. But then you'll start seeing inventor and scientist. You'll start seeing all these different things that this guy has done. And you're like, oh my goodness. And it's because of his ability to learn how to learn. And this is the secret sauce hack for all of you. Because I looked at it, I was the underdog, but I feel like if somebody else can do it, I can do it. It may take me a lot longer.
Okay, we're going to get fired. Hold it. You got to shut up.
Are we?
We have to take a break. I am in so much trouble. We're going to come back right after this.
They didn't trust you.
Marketing Leadership Show.
That's why they didn't trust you.
So guess what?
They knew.
All right. We came out of the bad break. So it is so bad that what's going to happen here, Jason, the producer of the show, just wrote me a note and said, if you don't get it together, I'm going to come out and sit with you. So guess what? Jason's coming out to sit with me. It will be very, very exciting. I'm moving my chair over right now. You guys are going to get to meet the one and only Jason Kohler, who is like, there's only one thing I really don't like about the guy. And that's he's from Portland, Oregon, and he loves the Portland Trail Blazers. And the Trail Blazers are playing the Nuggets right now tonight. So, Jason, how are you?
I'm doing great. Come dunk on you.
Say hi to Rob Sperry, the famous Rob Sperry.
How are you doing, Rob?
What's happening? Are you keeping him straight, Tom?
Oh, my God. Look how good looking he is.
I'm staying off camera.
My mother-in-law literally comes over here just to say hi to Jason. That is so cute. And Denise,
well, you guys are, so we got Portland fans, Denver Nugget fans, and then I grew up in California, so I'm a Laker fan. You guys hang up like regular season banners. We hang up championship banners.
Yeah.
That's still cute. It's really cute. You guys hang up.
You were in California for what, like 15 minutes, and you just jumped on the bandwagon. That's charming. Scary.
I was 14 years old, but pretty close.
All right.
Pretty close. We did have some dark years. It was really weird when we didn't win a championship for a couple of years. And I'm like, this is how the Portland and the Denver fans feel every single year. Like, it was really good to be able to connect with you guys. I'm like, geez, this is painful. Like, I understand you guys now.
All right. This is I needed some ammo to go into my contact map on Sperry for things I don't like about him, because I thought I liked him, but I knew there was always something underneath that I didn't like, and I finally got my finger on it.
You got an excuse to message me, because there's a good chance we lose this first round playoff series. But you know what? The good part is, even if we lose it, it's like we've filled up our tank so much because we've won so much that it's okay. It's okay, right? We're not empty. Like you guys are empty. You're trying to drink water and you're like, there's no water.
You're such a fair weather friend. You're probably just going to fall back on the Jazz. And if they lose, you'll fall back on somebody.
Who are the Jazz?
Who's
I'm
next?
loyal,
Tim
man.
Tebow? Tim Tebow next? I mean, he's coming back to football. You'll be grabbing him next. It's going to be exciting.
I'll pick a team and stick to it. I just pick
Unbelievable.
the right one.
Unbelievable. All right, Adrian, you got a commercial in you? Hello, Denise.
All right. So if you want to remember who to avoid when their team is beating you because you don't want to catch any flack, you need a place to remember these important things about the people that are in your life so that you are constantly in the process of being a professional relationship builder. And so that's what contact mapping is. Contact mapping says when the Lakers lose, call Sperry and rub it in. When the Lakers play the Nuggets, block his number so that he can't call you and get underneath your skin. And what it really does, truly, we joke about this, but think about how many friends you have, and they root for some, Rob, right? I wouldn't know Rob was a Lakers fan. I had probably heard somewhere along the way he grew up in California, but I associate Rob with living in Utah. I would have assumed he was a Jazz fan. And so Lakers win the championship and you go, who are my buddies who are Lakers fans? I'm going to send them a note. And so anything in your head, it's like you can Google your own memory. And I go through my list all the time. I read, I come across some interesting article about, crypto stuff. And I go, who are my people who are into crypto? And I can literally Google my phone. I can go through and remember everybody who's into whatever it is. And I'm just sending people stuff all the time, or I'm loving on them all the time based on these little things that I remember about them. But it makes it so easy to genuinely build relationship because I'm connecting what I remember about you with the things that I care about or what I'm passionate about. And it just all comes together. And that's so much more natural than this, using scripts and trying to trap people into something or whatever. And so that's really what contact mapping is about. There's a totally free version you can try. There's a premium version that will blow your mind. So go to contactmapping.com/free. Try the free version right now. Fall in love with it and you'll send us a thank you note later, I promise. All right, let's switch.
All right, great job. Great. You are a wordy man. All right, we're back. It is Tom Chenault. It is the Network Marketing Leadership Show with the great Jason Kohler, Adrian Chenault, Rob Sperry. Shout out to my buddy Jordan Adler. So I didn't even know they did this. All of a sudden in my mail, are you getting 1 million of these postcards now, Rob?
Oh, yeah.
And they're all coming because they put together some deal where like in 1 second, you can send somebody a postcard off your phone. And I am telling you, they are coming in like it's going out of style. There's nothing cornball about it. And this guy named Jim Carpenter took a picture of the show somehow when we had Alan Newell on here. And then he just wrote me this, all he wrote. I mean, he's not the most verbose guy. Tom, another amazing show. Thank you. Didn't even sign it and sent me this card. And I felt remembered and I felt loved and I felt connected. So all you people, just learn how to remember people. Good job on that, Jordan. Good job on that, Jim. And if you want to send me cards, send me cards. I love getting cards. I love mail. And it's a beautiful life we have. So back to our buddy Rob Sperry and Adrian Chenault. And this is a long segment, and it's going to get deep, and Adrian's taking over.
What a setup. All right. So, Rob, you went through you talk about your experience having built your business, from the ground up, really going after it, really working your butt off to get to the level that you got to in your company. And, back then you had a great mentor, but, you clearly, a lot more now having hung around all of these people who have been there and done it. What do you think, if you could go back and do it all over again and you could take the knowledge you have now and go back and work it all over again? What do you think what are the number one drivers to success for somebody trying to get started or trying to crack through from having worked it forever and just not really having seen the results they were looking for?
Yeah, well, I mean, the first thing is what everybody needs to do, if we're simplifying it, is talk to more new people. And I'll go into that in a second. But with that said, I guess the question is why would they not do that? And it all comes back to the mindset, because mindset will eat skills and systems for breakfast. The fear of judgment is the mother of all fears. Remove the fear of judgment. You don't have the fear of the unknown. You don't have the fear of, and we're talking about like remove like every person here on this earth, and you remove the fear of judgment, right? It's like, well, I don't have the fear of success. I don't have the fear of failure. I don't have the fear of rejection. I don't have the fear of missing out. All these fears are gone that you have in the network marketing profession. So it's the mother of all fears where it stems from. We are so worried about what everyone else thinks when in reality, they don't care that much. They make quick judgments. They're going to judge you no matter what. That's what people do. They judge you because you're too fat. They're going to judge you because you're too skinny. They're going to judge you because you approach them way too soon. How dare you? They're going to judge you because you took way too long to approach them. Like, that's just what people do. And so the mother of all fears, when you remember that and go back to that, that helps. But then all of that, all this personal development, all the coaching that I do, all the coaching everyone else does, all the personal development and podcasts you listen to, all the books you read, everything comes back to giving you more of the mindset to help you to do what you know you should have been doing in the first place. And that sounds so simplified and common sense, but yes, we do need it. We do need some of that nurturing and some of that belief. Even the techniques just gives us a lot more of the mindset and the belief that we can do this. So number one income producing activity is talking to brand new people. If you talk to more brand new people about your business or products, what's going to happen? You're going to get better at inviting, following up, closing. You're going to get better at handling objections. You're going to get better at presenting. The law of averages kicks in. You talk to 20 people and then all of a sudden, oh my goodness, someone joined my business. And you talk to 20 more, oh, 3 people joined my business. And you talk to 20 more, oh, 2 more joined my business. Eventually, one of those people is pretty good. You also eventually are getting better and better. And so it really is pretty simple. But then what happens? Somebody signs up somebody good or somebody at all. And then what do they like to do? They go in this management mode. So rather than talking to brand new people, it's a lot easier to avoid the fear of judgment, the rejections. So now I would love to work with Adrian and Tom. It's so much easier for me not to get rejected. And instead, hey, Adrian, Tom, I'm the super supportive upline. How can I help you? I'm here for you. Anything you need. It's like, how hard is it to help? I'm never saying to abandon, but look, between your Zooms and your Facebook groups and your trainings and everything and shooting over a voice message, like, it doesn't take very long at all. But you confuse being busy with being productive. And so now all of a sudden you're just every single second, it's like, how can I help you? How can I help you? And then in your mind, the end of the week, you work 20 hours. Well, 19 and a half of those hours were everything except for talking to brand new people. So with that, and you guys already both know this, most people don't know this. You can see it in the background there. My book, The Game of Networking, the first book I wrote, it's kind of embarrassing. It took me 8 years to write, no big deal. But I kind of overthought it a little bit, but that's all right. We got it done. Second book took me 2 years, got a little faster as we go. But in that book, I actually talk about a principle that is a contact mapping principle before contact mapping existed. And this is part of the reason why we connect so well. Is one of my secret sauce tips that helped me out was I reached out to a minimum of 10 people every single day, non-business related. Now, I hate fake chit chat, so don't mistaken what I'm saying here. But I love being a good human being. Someone adds you as a new friend, right? Well, I'm curious. You add somebody as a new friend, somebody's birthday, somebody's anniversary, somebody just had a baby, somebody just graduated from college, or their kid just graduated from college. Somebody's sports team just won. Somebody's sports team just lost. And I want to talk some trash, as you guys just learned. I love talking trash. It's fun. These guys didn't even know I like talking trash. And they didn't know I'm actually pretty good at it, right? Got a lot of weaknesses, but I'm pretty good at talking trash. And so, right, all these things now. So what I would do is I would literally text or call 10 people every single day. And what happened was I became really good at just listening. And these conversations don't have to be that long. People are like, oh, that's just so long. Look, between the text, I mean, I would do it really quickly. And this is even before voice messaging, right? It was super simple. And I think that was one of the top ways that helped me to have success. And then I had to set reminders in my phone. I had to do everything old school. And I did it every single day. I mean, I talk about this in my book that came out years and years and years ago. So these guys, even before reading my book, are creating contact mapping, because this is what Tom has already done. And they're creating something that actually automates that and puts it on steroids to go do. Because yes, it's leads. Yes, it's talking to brand new people about your business or products. But part of my daily method of operation on top of that was just having more connections, because more conversations done right equal more conversions, equal more rank advancements, equal smashing those company trips, right? Smashing those goals as you go. And so I kind of brought that all together, where that's what I focused on was, number one, yes, most important, how many new people I invited to look at my business or products. And then number two, to go along with it, was the conversations that I had that were quick conversations, just constant pinging, right? Staying in touch with people, just pinging and making new friends and contacts, and doing it in a way that I understood these people, because I get bored when it's like fake chit chat. Hey, how's the weather? I'm just like, just look it up online. You can see, right? I'm like, can't you see? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to have a real conversation. How are you? I'm like, how am I supposed to respond to that? Like, I had a conversation with a guy a year ago. I said, good. And then he's like, great. I'm like, good. It's like, oh my goodness. Like, couldn't handle it. So, that's just to give you guys a little bit more perspective as you're tuning in. I know that you guys already knew some of that, but that's why I'm such a firm believer in it, is because, I mean, that's what I did. I write about it in my book of, that I spent 8 years writing about, and you guys have just automated it all, which is incredible.
So this book that Rob is talking about, both of his books, The Game of Networking and The Game of Conquering, are both absolute must-reads in network marketing. But The Game of Networking, I mean, it really is, I think, one of those books that you have to have in your toolbox as a professional network marketer. Rob, where's the best place for people to pick up a copy of that?
So you can go to Amazon if you want to get it, but also if you want to get, like, I've got, different, you got fun little different deals and stuff. So I actually just published it today, and I'll put it in there, but it's just www.bookbundle.robsperry.com. And then that gives you access to get just that one book, or you can get all of my books that I have. So it's www.bookbundle.robsperry.com. And the cool part about that is rather than paying $15 per book, I'll let people get all 4 books for $30. I mean, you guys already know this. Books aren't money makers, but they are huge money makers. They're not money makers from people purchasing or investing, but they're huge money makers because the impact and influence they have, which leads to, people like, wow, I like this stuff. Or they're like, let's burn this book. Never fall on this dude again. Right. But either way, it's one or the other after.
No, you're totally right. And you want to do that through bookbundle.robsperry.com, because you want to plug into what Rob, there's just there's very few people that I can think of out there, not just in the network marketing profession, but anywhere, that are as committed to giving away a huge, huge amount of value for free over and over and over again. And he just trusts that you're going to opt into wanting, if the free stuff is this good, you can hardly imagine how great the stuff is that you pay for. And that's true with Rob, but he really lives into that. And so you don't want to buy it from Amazon, because then you don't get to be part of seeing all the other stuff that he brings out that you want to plug into. You really want to go plug in that way. So definitely do that. And Rob, that's an unbelievable deal. I might have to just go buy a couple of those bundles to have some more books to give away, because that's such a good deal. I'm going to make you lose some money on those.
It's worth it.
Did you see Ivan Misner is going to be on the show next week? He's the guy that founded BNI.
Yeah.
And you guys, you want to be on there. He is the quintessential contact mapper of the world. And again, going back to Jordan Adler, it's how Jordan Adler really, really launched and leveraged himself, because he had his people in every city around the country build a BNI group. And he became ground zero for BNI and network marketing all over the planet. And Ivan Misner, if you saw that month that they spent at Richard Branson's island with Richard Branson, this guy's the real deal. He's not nearly as cool as Rob Sperry, but he's older.
He is literally one of the godfathers. He's one of the people, actually, when I was writing The Game of Networking, that you know, when you start like looking around, you start looking like different content and books, he wouldn't know who I am, but I know who he is because I was following and I'm like, okay, what does he have? What does he say about this and this as you're doing your research and due diligence? Absolutely phenomenal. What an inspiration from a networking standpoint, breaking it down and teaching people and living it.
He's in the league of a Harvey McKay or a Bob Bodine.
Yeah.
I mean, our learning from him will be like learning from Rob Sperry. Rob is so super relevant right now. If you don't go buy those books, you're out of your mind. The guy is the real deal. We don't put people that aren't on this show unless we get bamboozled, which has happened, but not very often. We'll be back right after this. This is the Network Marketing Leadership Show with Adrian, Rob, and Tom. Stick around.
Hey, Adrian, I bet you if we really tried hard, we could get Tom on a good day or maybe a bad day to you to drop the bamboozled list. Like,
the bamboozled list. Oh,
names.
Oh man, I got a couple of them on the tip of my tongue right now. I'm kind of mad at a couple of guys, but I'm not gonna.
Like, don't. Tom in his mind, he's like, "Don't say it. Don't say it."
No,
like,
don't do
want
it.
You.
Yeah.
Not worth it.
No bamboozle list today, but you know, here's what you don't. And I want you to notice something. We talked about Ivan Misner, who's not a teenager. He's like me. But Rob Sperry threw no shade. He threw respect. And I want you to think about that. How do you talk about other people? Because I'm telling you one thing right now, you never know. And what you want to do is be known for that, not the person throwing the shade. And I need to take my own advice on that a lot of the time. So Adrian, back to you, buddy.
Yeah, you know, that's such an important concept, I think, for us just to think about in the way that, you know, let's say you're watching Rob, you're watching, you know, look at the leaders in your company, look at the people who you admire and, you know, wanting, you know, you aspire to run in those circles, right? You know, you look at people at the top of these companies that speak at Eric Worre's conferences or, you know, at the top level mastermind that Rob organizes, like you probably can figure out pretty quickly, these people all know each other. And so if you are toxic in your company and then you think you're going to go and trick somebody into thinking that you're somebody that you're not in another company or whatever, like the circle in everything, this is not just a network marketing thing, right? The circles at the top are really, really small circles. And, you know, bad news travels much, you know, 10 times the speed of good news. And so you just don't want to be that person. And instead, what if you could be the person that is known as, wow, you know, that guy or that woman is, you know, they're the most thoughtful person. They, you know, they're always recognizing other people. They're always, you know, checking in on me and remembering something important that I shared with them. And they just make me feel good. And I want to be around them and I want to refer them. And, you know, that really, you know, you look at the people who we talked about on the show, you look at Dr. Ivan Misner, you look at Jordan Adler, you look at Rob Sperry, you look at Brian Fryer, Fraser Brooks, Jesse Lee Ward, you know, people love those people and the people at the top of those people, right? It's not like, you know, they've kind of done a spell on the people that are in their organization just because they drive fancy cars or whatever. And anybody at the top that knows them goes, oh, they're such a jerk. I hate that guy. You know, these people are genuinely good people. And that's who you want to be. You want to be the person that is invited to that table because of the way you show up and the level of professionalism and the level of care that you bring. And, you know, Rob, I didn't leave much time for you, but you are that guy. And so I'll just talk about you rather than make you talk. You know, Rob really is that guy. He really is somebody who pours into other people. He's somebody who has poured into me. And, you know, Rob, I just want to, you know, thank you because so many times, you know, if I had to pay you for all the hours of advice and wisdom.
You didn't get the bill? I sent it.
I did change my address recently. Shoot. I thought I was going to get off with it for free just with some nice words here. But truly, you know, he's somebody who is contributing to other people's lives. And it's worked out really well for him. And it will work out really well for you too. And so, you know, do contact mapping or don't do contact mapping. But if you're going to do it to become a better person. And your business is going to take care of itself. That's why we created it. That's what we believe and know is true. And so go and check it out. All right, let's go back and finish the last thing.
And we're back. It's Tom Chenault, Adrian Chenault, Rob Sperry. It is the Network Marketing Leadership Show, sponsored by contactmapping.com/free. Go there. You'll figure out why in the world Rob Sperry is so successful. Basically, we stole his idea from the game of networking, read that book. Adrian said, good God, Dad, you could learn from this. Read this book. So I read the book. And then I said, Adrian, we've got to digitize that. And Adrian said, my goodness gracious, we do, Dad. And that's exactly how it all happened. And we have only Rob Sperry to thank for that. Rob Sperry, thank you very much. We love you with all of our heart. You are a beautiful man.
Hey, we're on the same wavelength as this goes, and we understand just the power of constantly networking. And it's just crazy how it's such an oversight, networking. Like, people think network marketing, but they don't understand, like, it starts with networking first, and that leads to network marketing. And it's also bigger than just network marketing. I look at my one of my best cars that I got. I reached out to a guy that I'd known for 10 years, and because I stayed in contact with him, very simple. He said, Rob, I got the friends and family discount. I get it at cost, a Mercedes twice a year. Go get any Mercedes you want, and I'll give it to you at cost. And where did that come from? How did I get my kids into tennis lessons of an instructor that wasn't taking any new lessons for 4 or 5 years? How did get my kids into a school, right, where they said it was completely full and booked? Like, all of it was networking. And you guys know this. I mean, I haven't heard you guys talk about this, but I'm sure you guys know this, right? The famous Harvard study, it's the longest going study of all time. And they studied about 170 Harvard undergraduates on the number one indicator of happiness. And they came back, and it wasn't college degree. It wasn't, the job title. It wasn't the amount of money that they made. It came down to, and this is how they quantified it, warm relationships. That's literally what it came down to. So things like networking and contact mapping, yeah, it's going to help you to have more success. Of course, it's important to understand that, because we want the short term, right? Like, okay, how does it help me right now? But it's also going to make you happier. And people miss that.
Talk to anybody that went to all those schools. How'd you like your education there? Oh, the education was great, but my contacts, the people I met, were better. Listen to this text. Tom, my wife thinks I am a loser. Do you believe that you could get me a room at the Andaz Hotel in Utah for a special weekend with her? I have no way to get there. You have to help me. Love, Rob Sperry. Do you remember that?
My wife thinks I'm a loser.
You wrote that to me.
You were so good at adding stuff. I love it.
Maybe it didn't sound like that, but that's what he was intimating. So I started making calls to try to get it
right away.
And I found out I had no pull. But the fact of the matter is, it's not just, it's about everything in life. You call somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody to help you with the serious stuff.
I'm calling the best networker I know, Tom Chenault. Yeah. No one can.
Yeah, can you believe I had that in my contact mapping on you? That is so funny. So yeah, the name of the game is remember everything and then use it against them. No, remember everything. That's the key to the whole deal. And that's what you want to do, everybody. Become the best rememberers on the planet to build a network marketing business. And he was talking about that at the beginning of the show. And throughout this, it's all a mindset deal. That's what he trains. He knows that the mechanical part are the tools. You get those tools out of the game of networking. You've got to go to these events to get that mindset. Why do you think her name's Christina McCauley, right? The lady that goes to all your stuff?
Tracy Rogers.
Yeah, that's how good I am. It was off the top of my head.
Tracy goes, and she was so honored that you knew who she was. She's like, oh my goodness, Tom, the legend knows who I am. And she's a top 3 earner, first one to hit the huge diamond rank in her company that's doing, I think, $500 million, and they've only been around for less than 5 years. So she's insane.
The most important part, but she wasn't.
No, that's 30 years of no success.
There you go. She was
30 years.
Now she is. She can take it to that date that she stepped in the foxhole with Sperry that changed her life. And that's why I want you guys, and on my Facebook wall, I named a few of these people that I would jump in the foxhole with, that I can send people to and not worry about anything goofy happening with. And Rob Sperry, we opened it up with that, because I want you to understand your people are your greatest asset. Don't give them to idiots. It's that simple. Give them to somebody that's going to take them somewhere, not somebody practicing on your people. Right, Rob?
Oh, 100%. I mean, we know the law of association and the power of it and who we're around and the environment. It's absolutely key and critical. I look at it as vision's number one. We don't lack motivation. We lack vision. So think about that. You never lack motivation. You just lack vision. You got enough vision, everything else happens. So what's part of everything else? Number two is environment. Environment is, part of environment is law of association. Part of environment as well is social media, right? So people get on social media and they're like, oh my goodness, I hate it so bad. I get on social media, I freaking love it. Why? Because I block, unfriend, unfollow people that aren't inspiring to me. Shame on them the first time, but after that, shame on me for feeling that way. And you talk about this, as far as, going to your AA meetings and all of that type of stuff. Well, someone can't be an alcoholic and say they're going to stop drinking alcohol. And we're talking about the law of environment. And all of a sudden they got alcohol surrounded everywhere, right next to their bed, in their pantry, in their fridge. They can't. So when we talk about environment, that goes right after vision of an absolute necessity to crush it.
Exactly right. All right, we're going to get out of here. Adrian, you want to say anything to Rob Sperry before we go home? This show flew by.
It really, really did. Rob, we just love having you. And, there's a reason why we ask you back over and over again. You bring so much value. So make sure that you go to bookbundle.robsperry.com. Check out what he's up to. And Rob, thank you so much. We got Dr. Ivan Meisner here with us next week. That's going to be unbelievable. So we'll see you next week.
Get on. We'll see you guys. Thanks so much. I appreciate it.